The defending national champions, Michigan Wolverines, played their spring game yesterday in the Big House. What did we learn from this spring game? We'll talk about it right now. But if you have been following this channel throughout the course of last season, then thank you for being dialed in. Double check you're subscribed. If you're new, welcome. We talk college football every single day. We do a live show 3 times a week on this channel at 11 a.m. Eastern. We're a little bit sick when it comes to college football. We're talking about a spring game the morning after it happened. So if that gives you any kind of pulse for how we operate around here, appreciate you being dialed in and appreciate you making sure you're subscribed because you are tuning into a video about a spring game. So we're kind of the same amount of sick when it comes to this deal. So make sure you're subscribed here and also make sure you're following me on Instagram and on Twitter at JD Paquel. Would love to hear from you all over there. The pieces across the board here are going to be different. I thought Joel Klatt was really articulate in how he summed it up. He said, everything's changed, but nothing's different. I think I'm paraphrasing there, but that was essentially what he was getting at. He was exactly right. A lot of new pieces. Michigan, they're 128th in returning production from last year's national championship team. The numbers have been pretty well documented. 1 returning starter on offense. A lot of key pieces gone on defense. But with that being said, even with the new staff, even with the new head coach in Sherrone Moore, what they are going to be in 2024 is the same as they were in 2023 in the sense that they are going to lean on you. They're going to be physical, the definition of physical, on the defensive and offensive lines of scrimmage. They're going to run the football. They're going to be smash mouth. I think hashtag smash is what Sherrone Moore has got going on over there. That's going to be their bread and butter. And then when they get you to that fourth quarter, when they drag you out to the deep end, and maybe it's a one-score game, maybe it's close at half, but when they get to that second half or those moments where it's like it's winning time, Michigan, as teams start to plateau or even trend downward, that's when they put their foot on the gas and continue to accelerate. And we saw that yesterday. Yes, it was a spring game. No, we didn't see the starters play the duration of this entire game. But even with that being said, you saw from the way they called this game, that's going to be their MO. Love seeing Donovan Edwards get downhill. Love seeing Colston Loveland when we did get to see him out there. Love seeing the offensive line move the line of scrimmage. Like, overall, I love the way this team looks. And I will also say this, the unproven production within this roster does not mean there's going to be a drop-off. Just because there's going to be a lot of new faces out there does not mean those faces can't still ball. Because what we've said about Michigan really since the last couple of seasons has been they have a certain way of doing things, both on the field and then internally, that is emphasized from a physicality standpoint and from a development standpoint. Like Zeke Berry, he's going to be a dude that we talk about a lot on this show. I have a feeling going forward. He looked phenomenal yesterday. That defense I thought looked phenomenal yesterday, even without some of those key pieces consistently playing. There's a lot to be excited about. Wink Martindale's now calling the defense. They're going to be aggressive. Still, that MO of who they are from last season will be the same. You saw flashes of it in the spring game. I think you'll see more of it as the season wears on. The bottom line here is I think there is too many dudes on this defense, from a Will Johnson, from a Kenneth Grant, a Mason Graham. I talked about Zeke Berry, McBurrows. Like, there's a lot of dudes on this defense. I don't see them taking a step back. The potential for this team to look the most different starts at quarterback. Like, that's where we're going to see, I think, a little bit of an evolution offensively, because last year, as good as J.J. McCarthy was, Alex Orji might be the best athlete on the field when he's back there playing for you. And I went into this game, and my question was, how do you feel about the transfer portal if you're a Michigan Wolverine fan coming out of the spring game? I thought a lot of that would be tied to how Alex Orji looked. Alex Orji, to be honest, I thought he looked pretty efficient. A little squirrely early. You know, maybe the juice of the moment was coursing through his veins a little bit, a couple of misfires, but he finished 13 for 18, over 100 yards, had a rushing touchdown, and that's the key piece here, man. The ball jumps out of his hand. He has that elite ability running the football. He brings a lot of juice to the table. I could see Michigan adding in some design quarterback runs like they did for him last year in certain packages. Like, he is too good of an athlete that'll impact the game every single Saturday with his legs. And so going back to what I said about the transfer portal and about Michigan overall, and Kirk Campbell kind of echoed this sentiment, I don't think they're going to go to the portal based on even how they utilized Alex Orji last year, based on how they utilized Alex Orji in the spring game and how many snaps they got from him, how much work he got in that game. Seems like they have all the information they need on him because they weren't repping him throughout the course of that game. He played a lot in the fourth quarter and played a little bit at the beginning, but overall, like, it wasn't this whole game where you're saying, what can 10 bring to the table? I think by how Kurt Campbell talked about it, and I think also by what we can take away from what we saw yesterday, I think you got your guy. Is he J.J. McCarthy? No, but he's Alex Orji, and I think if he's able to play within this system and still utilize his athleticism, that's going to be enough. That's going to be more than enough. It's going to bring some new things to the table. Other reason for that, everything about this team is based in continuity. And not continuity in the sense of, these are guys that all started last year, because we just established a lot of unproven production. But Michigan's not a team that's going to hit the portal super heavily. They'll add some pieces. I fully believe that, especially at wide receiver. But this is a team that, from the coaching staff to who they have playing quarterback, I think they trust their process internally. They could have gone out and tried to hire a big name at Michigan. I promise you they could have done that with their brand power, with the fact they just won a national championship. They could have gone and swung big for a big name. Instead, they said, you know what? No. Sherrone Moore has proven himself to be worthy of this head coaching position. He's got the support of our team. He knows how we do things. He understands the winning formula. We're going to make him our head coach. And I think the same thought process should be applied to who you have playing quarterback this year. I think it's going to be Alex Orji. I don't think they go to the portal. You could go to the portal and maybe grab someone who has a little bit of extra experience, or maybe there's someone that pops in there with more arm talent. But Alex Orji gets the way that Michigan does things. Alex Orji has been in this program for a number of years now. He understands what it is to be Michigan Wolverine through and through. That matters. You bring in somebody after spring practice, they're playing catch-up with the system. More importantly, they're playing catch-up with trying to win the locker room, with trying to embed themselves into the culture. A lot of other variables that are hard to quantify, where it might be a good fit on paper, but it doesn't fit the blueprint of what Michigan wants to be and the continuity of what they have internally. If we've learned anything from Michigan this offseason, it is that they're going to trust themselves and trust what this machine, the last couple of seasons under Jim Harbaugh, has produced and will produce going forward now under Sherrone Moore. A big variable for Alex Orji, too, he's got to have some playmakers step up for him. Tyler Morris is a guy that we heard a lot about when it came to that broadcast, the way they talked about him. Samaj Morgan, you saw last year in the things that he could do in giving the ball in space. Fred Moore stole the show to me. I understand he only had 2 catches for 76 yards, but that second catch went for a touchdown, man. Like, the speed that you saw on that dude, that is real deal explosiveness. I don't know what that rotation is going to look like when it comes time for them to play ball during the season, but you saw a couple of pieces yesterday from Michigan, and then you factor in what Colston Loveland you imagine will be when it comes time for the season, because you know what he's going to bring to the table. That's a baseline, I think, that they can build upon. And if they trend the right way, if they build on what they have in-house from an ability standpoint, and they become more polished and they get more comfortable and they get on the same page from a chemistry standpoint, they're going to be able to do what they did last year. And that the key thing, I think, which allowed Michigan to get over the hump last year and win the national championship was J.J. McCarthy, of course, but to put a finer point on it, the playmakers with J.J. McCarthy made Michigan an operation to where they could fight multiple styles. They get to the Rose Bowl and they have to throw the ball that final drive to go and win the ball game. That's what they did, or to force overtime, rather. That's what they did. That's who Michigan was last year. They were able to pound the rock. That was still a part of their identity, but they were also, if you tried to stack the box, able to make you pay by J.J. McCarthy's arm talent and by a Roman Wilson and by all the other guys that were able to make plays for them downfield. So the point I'm trying to make here is Alex Orji and this run game, they're going to demand attention in the box. If they can make you pay when those safeties creep up, when those linebackers crowd the line of scrimmage, that's going to be really exciting for the folks in Ann Arbor. So the bottom line here, it's a spring game. I understand that, but the bottom line here is Michigan is not going anywhere. Yes, a lot of new pieces. Yes, unproven production. Yes, new quarterback, new head coach. They're not going anywhere. I'm not calling my shot for them to win the national championship, but I am saying you're going to have to factor them in, obviously, when it comes to that college football playoff conversation. And we would probably feel that way even without that spring game happening yesterday. But I think Alex Orji and his efficiency and the growth that I think he could have throughout the course of this offseason moving into the fall should excite Michigan fans. I'm excited to see him play. Again, I think you have your guy. I don't think it's a portal thing. Alex Orji, right now I'll call it, will be QB1, and this team is going to be a force, even with all the new faces. So let me know what you think about Michigan in the comment section. Also, get at me on Instagram and Twitter, like I mentioned, at JD Patel. Hey, we're not going anywhere. College football season right around the corner. It's always college football season on this show, The Hard Count, on this platform, the On3 YouTube channel. We're going to keep this party rolling. We'll see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.